Hey there, welcome back and Happy New Year. Glad you're back. I hope you had a great holiday. Got to spend some time with family. I got to spend a lot of time off and with family myself, so feeling refreshed and rejuvenated heading into the new year. On that note, today I just wanted to go through the top 5 personal finance books I've ever read, most impactful for me personally, just to recommend those to you and kind of give you a why. I'm an avid reader. I try to read 60 to 80 books a year, some personal finance, kind of some all over the personal development spectrum, a little bit of fiction here and there, but just wanted to give you these 5 as I thought they would be helpful to you in your financial journey. So let's get into it. Welcome. I'm Erik Baskin, an Air Force Academy graduate, turned veteran entrepreneur and certified financial planner. I help military families and veteran business owners achieve financial freedom. Okay. Number 1, this is in no particular order. This first author, though, is probably my favorite personal finance author. The book is Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. If you haven't heard of Morgan Housel, you could be living under a rock. He's probably the biggest personal finance author out there right now. He's written 3 books in the last 6 years or so. Each have done really well. His first, though, Psychology of Money, is like over 10 million copies now. He has some really good, I think, behavioral themes that he hits on in that book on behavior, why we think the way we think about money, how we think about wealth, how we should think about debt. Some things he talks about in that book are, behavior being more important than being the smartest person in the room. Wealth is what you don't see, like unspent money is actually wealth. And typically flashy spending doesn't correspond with actual wealth. And then having margin and room for error in your planning. So just a few topics. He hits on a bunch of stuff in that book. Honestly, every year. I've got 15 books that I reread every year across the spectrum right now. I'm in that phase right now in January where I'm going through those. Psychology of Money is on that list. So I would highly, highly recommend Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Okay, number 2. This one is Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin. This has been around for I think 20 years or so. Kind of a classic at this point. Kind of what the central theme of this book is viewing money a little bit differently and viewing it as life energy. So, right, if I'm going to go buy an item, let's say it's a pair of shoes, right? They cost $100. Instead of saying, oh, that's just $100, viewing that as that's $100 of my life energy that I had to go earn from income and post-tax to my bank account to go pay for those shoes. So just kind of viewing your financial independence someday of not needing to work, right? And your personal life energy, equating that to money. Super, super interesting. It's kind of on the antithesis of the FIRE, Financial Independence Retire Early movement. It was kind of the beginning of that when this book was put out. It's really about defining your enough. What is that for you quantitatively and then qualitatively? And then figuring out hey, how much life energy do I have to expend to, get what I need in housing, food, etc. So it's an interesting book. Also on my reread list every year. I just think it is a really good reminder of just a different kind of way to think about money. Okay, number 3. This book, it relates to number 2 a little bit. This is Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. This came out in the last few years. It was kind of totally different way to think about building or depleting, I should say, your wealth over your lifetime, and a different way to think about money. Another one that's on my reread list every single year because I just think it's so thought-provoking. Basically, this is Bill Perkins. His philosophy is we should be optimizing for life experiences and not just our net worth, right? So most people build net worth until they die, and then they're kind of the richest they'll ever be when they die, but they're not thinking about how to best spend that wealth when they're able to have certain experiences earlier in life. So his example, he'll say, hey, why are you saving all this money through your 30s and 40s to have all this money when you're 80 or 90 when there's certain experiences that are going to cost money that you could have in your 30s and 40s that you just, from a health perspective, won't be able to have later in life? Going traveling all over Europe or going, if you're adventurous, going paragliding. I don't know, just making stuff up. But his philosophy is basically most people should be spending down earlier rather than later. Most people should be giving inheritances to their kids, for example, earlier rather than later. The timing of when we spend and give money matters a lot. And we shouldn't be necessarily dying with the most amount of money we've ever had in our life. It's just not an optimal scenario from his viewpoint. So it's an interesting book. Do you actually want to die with absolutely $0 in your bank account? Probably not. Nobody knows when they're going to die, but it is a really like thought-provoking read that, again, I think is super helpful every single year, just to remind like, hey, we should be focused on experiences, and like we should think about our life totally differently like than most people do. Like we only have certain years where things make sense, where kids are around, parents are around, we're healthy. Certain times of life make sense for different experiences, and we should kind of match our money to that reality. So really good book, Die with Zero, Bill Perkins. Okay, number 4, A Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton Malkiel. So this is kind of like, I would say, the holy grail of basic investing books. I read it, I want to say back in 2016, maybe when I was still at school. It's what informed, how I developed my investment philosophy, and kind of like almost piqued my interest in like what I do today. But his basic takeaways, like he just presents a whole bunch of data really well to show you that picking stocks is very, very difficult. We can't reliably beat the market in terms of picking the right stocks or individual companies or jumping in and out of the market at the right time. He just presents the data really, really well and gives actionable insights on how to allocate your assets in ways that might make sense over long periods of time. So really good basic investing book. It's probably mid-level in its difficulty. Like there's simpler books that he's actually written a simpler version that I've had younger folks read, and there's more intense investing books. This is kind of right in the middle. I think it's understandable for most folks. So really, really good book. Random Walk Down Wall Street, Burton Malkiel. Lastly, number 5, The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley, Dr. Thomas J. Stanley. This is super interesting. Thomas Stanley did a huge study over many years of millionaires, right? So he would survey these millionaires. He would see what houses do they live in? Do they build? Do they buy used? What kind of cars do they buy? Do they buy used? Do they build? Or do they buy new? Do they reupholster their shoes? Do they redo their furniture? Or do they buy new furniture? Like just all these little things. And he presents the data so well. It's a data rich book, but he just kind of shows, like, the premise of the book is like, hey, all these people that are the millionaire next door, like the people that you think, oh, like they're probably okay. Like they're probably way better off than you think, but they make really simple financial decisions and they're very much more frugal probably than you think. So kind of like the silent wealthy is who he's like profiling here. These folks that make little decisions over many, many, many decades, and it adds up to great wealth and peace for them because they do these things over and over and over again. So he kind of like profiles them, gives you kind of like, hey, here's what these millionaires are doing. Like this probably would make sense for you. So it's super, super interesting. Millionaire Next Door by Dr. Thomas J. Stanley. So there you have it. Those are the 5 most impactful books for me on personal finance that I've ever read. Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin, Die with Zero by Bill Perkins, A Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton Malkiel, and The Millionaire Next Door by Dr. Thomas Stanley. I'll put links to all of these in the show notes on Amazon. I'll also link to my Goodreads, just an app that I use to track my reading. If you want to like just follow or friend me or whatever to just see what I'm reading, happy to have you follow me and follow along and see what I'm getting into each and every year. The goal is to try to read 100 books this year. I tried last year, came up a little bit short. I think I got to like 85 or something. But reading's awesome. I love reading. Couldn't recommend it more. These are the books that have been most impactful for me in the personal finance genre. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you back in a couple weeks. Thanks for being here. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back with some more content to help you on your journey to financial freedom. See you then. This is a friendly reminder that the podcast is general and educational in nature and does not constitute tax, investment, legal, or financial advice with respect to any particular individual or taxpayer. Please consult with your own tax, legal, financial, and other advisors regarding your own unique situation.